President Obama is going to try and restart his political agenda during the State of the Union speech tonight, but will it work? Joining me now are two political strategists, Democrat Anita Dunn and Republican Kevin Madden. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's always one of those great days in Washington. There's really sort of an air of anticipation. We love it when the president walks in the room, the sergeant at arms, and makes the announcement. Everybody stands up in unison, celebrating this republic and its standing and our freedoms and just everything, mom, home, and apple pie. And then it all changes within a couple of minutes. After that first initial applause, will there be a single point at which both sides of the aisle stand up tonight? Can you guess?
Absolutely.
You think?
Absolutely. Yes.
What will they be in agreement about, do you think?
I think the number one issue on the economy, I think anytime that the focus will turn back to the economy and they'll say we have to get the American economy moving again, I think that they'll be unified. I think where everybody becomes divided then is on the specifics.
I think that when President Obama lays out his number one agenda item, his priority for this year, which is growing jobs and making middle-class families the central point of what goes on here in Washington, making their interests ahead of the special interests, the people should stand up and applaud, because that's why they got sent here. And if the Massachusetts Senate race wasn't enough of a wake-up call that they need to put the interests of middle-class families first, then nothing will be.
Here's the question. Is this White House chagrined? Have they learned a lesson through this past year in terms of, well, all right, we've got our supermajority, we're going to shove health care through no matter hell or high water? Have they taken a step back and said, you know what, maybe we need to recalibrate? Do you have a sense of that?
I don't think we have the answer yet. I think the initial answer after the results from Massachusetts was no, but I think there's a sense of dawning awareness on this White House that their political prospects are tied to, again, reaching out to America and unifying again. I think the problem that the president had this year was that he lost his ability to be an agent of change, and he lost the perception among the American public that he was a unifier. Instead, Washington looks very divided. It looks very dysfunctional. And I think his charge tonight is to go out and to convince the American public again that he can get America functioning again, because we all know he gives a good speech, but we haven't yet, I don't think he's proven yet he can govern.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so Kevin, I have to say that Washington looks very divided because the Republicans made a decision a year ago that they weren't going to cooperate on anything, that the president has continually reached out, as he will tonight, as he will throughout his administration, because it's what he believes leaders do. I think that if you look at the challenges facing this country when he took office a year ago, and you look at how far we've come, it's extraordinary what he's managed to do in the face of Republicans saying no to everything. I think the Republican governor of Virginia, Bob McDonnell, ran on a unifying message very similar to the president's, and that'll be what the Republican response is tonight. But the question is whether Congress and the Republicans in Congress are willing to start working together for the interest of the American people, because that's what they want to see. They are tired of
I don't think you can say what you just said and look at what happened with health care, especially in the last month, and be honest about it.
You know, Harry, I disagree with that, mostly because I was working at the White House for most of this time, and I saw how many meetings with Republicans, how many attempts to reach out, how much time was spent listening to their concerns, an entire summer spent giving a lot of room to a bipartisan process, which ultimately Republicans walked away from, even as their leaders from day one announced that they were going to kill health care no matter what was in the bill. But here's the real point here, which is it's time for people to work together on the number one priority facing this nation. And if you ask the American people what that is, it's creating jobs. So I agree with Kevin. They should all applaud. They should all applaud there when they talk about jobs.
Look, election years are about the differences between the parties, and I think that's one of the things that you're going to see is that I think Republicans are going to go out there and offer themselves as a viable alternative and offer substantive differences with the president on how we get the economy jump-started. The stimulus jump-started government spending, and it didn't jump-start the private sector. It didn't help create jobs that we needed out there.
I don't think they're going to all be sitting around singing Kumbaya at the end of this speech tonight for some reason. Thank you very much. We will watch with anticipation.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you for having us.